are the top stories of the news. We killed PDP-elects Abdurrahman Mohammed and Samuel Anyahu as National Chairman and National Secretary. Plateau State Government imposes 48-hour curfew in Jos, North Local Government Area following deadly attack. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump We sincerely apologize for the mix-up there. Here are the top stories of the news. Governor Caleb Mutfwang says Plateau State will not succumb to intimidation following deadly attack. ICPC arraigns Nasser El-Rufai over multiple corruption-related allegations. On the foreign scene, Iranian attack on a fully loaded Kuwait crude oil tanker at Dubai port sparks fire. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alume. Governor Caleb Mutfwang has declared that Plateau State will not succumb to fear or intimidation following the deadly attack in Angwan-Rukuba, Jos North Local Government Area, which claimed 28 lives. In a statewide broadcast on Tuesday, the governor, visibly moved by the tragedy, said the state would rise above the incident and remain united in the face of adversity. Describing the attack as senseless, Mutfwang noted that the victims were law-abiding citizens caught off guard. He assured residents that decisive steps had been taken to restore calm, revealing that security agencies had been mobilized and that a 48-hour curfew had been imposed in Jos North to enable thorough operations. Mutfwang said he visited the attack scene with security chiefs to assess the situation, noting that the visit provided critical insight into strengthening preventive measures against future occurrences. The governor also visited victims at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, where he expressed optimism about their recovery. Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Oduah, has called for decisive action from the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, following the latest wave of killings in Plateau State. In a post shared on her Facebook page on Monday, the lawmaker directly addressed the minister, urging him to move beyond assurances and deliver concrete security outcomes. Her comments followed the deadly attack on Sunday night in Angwan-Rukuba and surrounding communities in Jos North Local Government Area of Plateau State, where gunmen opened fire on residents. Witnesses said the assailants, numbering over 20 and riding motorcycles, began shooting indiscriminately at a busy junction and an open-air bar before extending the attack to nearby residential areas. Staying with Plateau State, the Nigerian Bar Association has condemned the recent killing in Jos, Plateau State, describing the attack on residents during Palm Sunday as gruesome and unacceptable. In a statement issued on Tuesday, the NBA president Afam Osigwe said the violence, which left several people dead and others injured, highlights the worsening insecurity facing citizens across the country. The association said the incident was particularly tragic as it occurred on a significant Christian observance. It added that families and communities were thrown into grave instead of returning home peacefully from worship, stressing that the recurring attacks must not be allowed to continue. The NBA warned that Repeated killings without accountability were fostering a culture of impunity and eroding public confidence in the state's ability to protect lives. Troops of Hadinkai on Monday repelled a Boko Haram attack while escorting travelers along the Buratai-Kamuya axis of Borno State and rescued 150 civilians in the process. The Media Information Officer, Northeast Joint Task Force Operation Hadinkai, Sani Uba, disclosed this in a statement on Monday. According to him, the terrorists had attempted to abduct a large number of civilians comprising men, women, and children in about 17 vehicles into the bush. The aggressive pressure, according to him, exerted by troops forced the terrorists to abandon all abducted civilians and vehicles, effectively thwarting the mass kidnapping attempt. During the pursuit, the spokesperson said troops encountered an improvised explosive device along the Bulazama-Mangari axis. Meanwhile, governors of the 19 northern states under the aegis of the Northern States Governors Forum on Monday reaffirmed their support for President Bola Tinubu in tackling security and driving development across the region. This came after their meeting held at the Gombe State Governor's Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja. Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya, who chaired the meeting, signed the issue and issued a communique at the end of the deliberations. The governors pledged continued collaboration with the federal government and security agencies to address evolving threats, stressing the need for collective national support and restoring peace. The governors also emphasized institutional reforms within their structure, including plans to enhance coordination and policy implementation capacity. On economy matters, the northern governors agreed to engage consultants to explore ways of improving internally generated revenue across the region, particularly by identifying and harnessing untapped taxable sources. In which security, military, and paramilitary agencies received a total of 2.3 trillion naira in special intervention funding between October 2023 and September 2025. This according to the latest Federation Account Allocation Committee document. The ledger shows the money was released in 2023 equal tranches of 100 billion naira each under the ledger of Special Intervention Program for Nigerian military February 2026. The records from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation Account Department indicates that the intervention fund operated as a transit account, with each 100 billion naira received followed by a matching 100 billion naira disbursement, leaving no balance after payments were made. In a related development, the documents also showed that the federal government allocated 450 billion naira as non-regular allowances for the armed forces over a 3-month period in 2025, drawn from non-oil revenues. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has restrained the Kabiru Turaki-led National Working Committee from gaining access into the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja. Justice Abdul Malik made the order while delivering judgment in a suit instituted by a group of party loyal to the Ministry of the Federal Capital Territory, ESM Wike. Justice Abdul Malik also ordered security agencies, including the Nigerian Police Force, Department of State Services, DSS, among others, to give adequate protection to the PDP led by Abdurrahman Mohammed while accessing the Secretariat. The judge held that the purported national convention held by the Turaki-led group on November 15 and 16, 2025 in Ibadan, the election of the party's officials against the valid court orders was a nullity. The judge described the expulsion of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and his allies from the party during the 2025 convention as an affront to the order of the court. A former presidential candidate of the New Nigeria's People's Party, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, has formally defected to the African Democratic Congress, ADC. The former Minister of Defense registered with the ADC and received his membership card at Gidan Kwankwasiya, Mila Road, Mompai, Kano. The event was witnessed by chieftains of the ADC and a crowd of supporters, mainly from the Kwankwasiya movement. Among the prominent personalities were former Senate President and ADC National Chairman David Mark, the party's National Secretary and former Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola, and former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi. Others are former Sokoto State Governor Senator Aminu Tambuwal, former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, Senator Dino Malai, former APC National Chairman John Udigi Oyegun, and former Imo State Governor Emeka Ihedioha. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, has resigned. Tuga's resignation was confirmed by the ministry spokesperson, Kimiebi Ebiemfa, on Monday. The minister's action followed the directive of President Bola Tinubu to all political appointees in his administration who intend to contest elective or positions in the 2027 election to resign from their post on or before March 31. Tuga's resignation comes amid the speculation of his interest in contesting the 2027 Bauchi State governorship election on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has arraigned the former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai before a state high court over multiple corruption-related allegations. The case becomes barely 3 days after the former governor buried his late mother, who passed away in Egypt. The former governor is being charged for alleged abuse of office, fraud, intent to commit fraud, and conferring undue advantage while in office. The charges stem from investigations into alleged financial misconduct during his tenure as governor between 2015 and 2023. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break.